Hi, it's Joy, and today I'm going to be watching the new Spider-Man Far From Home trailer that was just released. I was just going about my day, and I saw it was there. I'm so excited. The Spider-Man Homecoming was... I loved it so much. I loved it so much more than I thought I would, and I thought I'd love it. And Peter Parker's one of my absolute favourite characters in the MCU, and I just love all of it. And I feel like after Endgame, it's probably going to be painful, but it's also just going to be amazing, and I can't wait for the trailer. Let's go.
But if you have seen Avengers Endgame,
Twice.
enjoy the trailer.
Thanks.
Everywhere I go, I see his face.
Oh. No.
I miss him.
Yeah, I miss him too. I don't think Tony would have done what he did if he didn't know that you were going to be here after he was gone.
Oh god! I love Peter.
You gonna be the next Iron Man now?
Well, no, I don't have time. I'm too busy doing your job.
Oh.
I'm kidding. Look, keep up the good
Stop
work.
him.
Because I am going on vacation.
Heads up, Nick Fury's calling you.
I don't really want to talk to Nick
Answer
Fury.
the phone.
Why?
Because if you don't talk to him, then I have to talk to him. I don't want to talk to him. You sent Nick Fury to voicemail?
No, you do not ghost Nick Fury.
What up, dorks?
What's up? We're just talking about the trip.
I'm here in St. Marco Polo's.
Oh, I think MJ really likes me.
Reminds me when I first fell in love.
You're a very difficult person to contact, Spider-Man. This is Mr. Beck.
We could have used someone like you on my world.
Your world, Beck, is from Earth, just not ours. The snap
Ooh.
hole in our dimension.
You're saying there's a multiverse?
We have a job to do.
I love how excited he was.
There's gotta be someone else you can use. What about Thor?
Off-world.
Marvel. Unavailable.
Oh my god.
On the neighborhood Spider-Man.
Oh my god.
Bitch, please, you've been to space.
What do you want, Peter?
I want to go back on my trip with the girl who I really like and tell her how I feel. MJ, I
I'm Spider-Man.
no, of course I'm not.
I mean, it's kind of obvious.
You're right, you may not be ready, but this is my responsibility. Saving the world requires sacrifice. Sometimes people die.
I just always feel like I'm putting my friends in danger. The world needs the next Iron Man.
Are you going to step up or not?
My heart is broken and full at the same time.
I gotta get you guys out of here. Get on the jet.
Who are you?
I work with. You work for Spider-Man? I work with Spider-Man, not for Spider-Man.
You're getting on that jet.
New plan.
Okay, so that was a lot. That was a lot more than I anticipated. Tom Holland was not kidding when he said there were spoilers for Endgame. I thought that, you know, maybe when I saw, you know, the little warning at the beginning, I thought, oh, they'll mention Tony. Did they ever mention? I'm just going to be sobbing in the cinema again. Oh, I've seen Endgame twice so far, and both times I have been hysterically sobbing as quietly as I physically can, but, you know, oh my god, there's just so much about this. I was really wondering, I know we were all wondering, how's Endgame going to affect Spider-Man? The fact that the first two trailers had seemed fairly, like, light and, like, you know, homecoming-ish. I just, oh. Obviously they're going to be referencing it, but it also hurts that they're going to be referencing it, and I'm not okay. Oh god, Tony and Peter's relationship was really important to me. It's one of my favourite relationships in the whole of the MCU. I mean, I have a lot of favourite relationships, but it was right up there. It took me by surprise that it was happening, and I mean, Peter Parker's had 3 father figures, and now Peter Parker has 0 father figures, although hopefully Happy, I'm glad he still has Happy, who does not work for Spider-Man, he works with Spider-Man. It just looks so good. I know how good it's going to be. I think, you know, the minute tickets go on sale, I'm just going to book to see it 10 times, because I'm going to want to see it 10 times. Oh my god. Tom Holland's Spider-Man is my favourite Spider-Man. I will admit I haven't seen the original Spider-Man, like the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. I've only seen GIFs of him, but I was a bit young when it came out, and sort of my parents didn't take me to see superhero films, and so it was only when I got a bit older and we went to the Avengers that I properly fell in love with all of the MCU, although I had seen Iron Man and Captain America first. But, you know, and I saw the Andrew Garfield films, but Tom Holland is by far the best Spider-Man, in my opinion. Everyone can have their own opinions, that's fine. But I love him. I love the characterization of Pete is just a kid, but he's such a brave, heroic kid. And in this film, I love the concept of them being on a school trip throughout Europe. You know, partly because it's always fun to see, you know, London. I'm like an hour away from London. It's great fun to see London. But, you know, I think it was Budapest, or was it Prague? I went to Prague and Budapest a year apart, and I get the skyline that he was by when she knew it was Spider-Man. Oh my gosh, she knows he's Spider-Man. I love that. I mean, I feel like that's kind of spoiling a big moment from the film, but at the same time it was hilarious. And we've all known, you know, MJ knows. I mean, it was quite obvious that she probably knew at the end of the last film, let alone if she figures out in this one. I mean, the fact that Spider-Man stops showing up in New York when Peter goes on holiday, then starts showing up around random cities in Europe when Peter is there. I mean, if everyone who knows him doesn't figure it out, they're being a bit stupid. But I mean, someone like Flash wouldn't figure it out because he just doesn't value Peter at all, so he would never think that a hero he values could be Peter unless he were to, if they might see him being Spider-Man, but it's interesting. I mean, if they're going on a lot about him being the next Iron Man, I think there's a lot of pressure to put on him. I know he wants to be a hero and he wants to do it, but he's a kid still. I mean, maybe let him figure out for himself where he wants to go, what he wants to do, and when there's a threat, by all means, call him in because he's a very capable hero. But he is still a kid, and if he decides to go to college, I guess he could go to college somewhere in New York, although he's smart enough to go to probably anywhere he wants to. And it's interesting, they keep saying he's going to be the next Iron Man. Well, Iron Man everyone knew was Tony Stark, so maybe is he going to at some point reveal that he is Peter Parker? I am Spider-Man. Is that going to be the last line of the film? That would be cool. But I'm very excited by Jake Gyllenhaal's character. Oh god. And I've seen a lot of like theories and things on the internet to do with him. The trailer didn't show too much of that. I like the fact that, you know, we were all commenting on the fact that in the original trailers for this film, Nick Fury says, it's good to finally meet you, when obviously they have met, but in this trailer he says, you know, you're a hard man to track down, because of course they've met and Peter was dodging his calls, and I love that. I love the way that I love that they trick us, basically. I love that they hide spoilers from us in previous trailers and they can give this trailer, which is the proper trailer. I love that they waited a couple of weeks, a week and a bit, between Endgame coming out and releasing this trailer, so that, you know, if you haven't seen it by now, it's okay. Just make sure you go and see that before you go and see Endgame. I'm a mess. I'm sorry, the beginning of that trailer was an absolute, like, it destroyed me. It utterly destroyed me. Oh, Peter. I still sit here sometimes at my computer and then I think about the end of Endgame and I cry. So, oh god, yeah, it was a lot. The beginning, I just don't want to give him a hug. It's just so fascinating. I love the concept of this film. I love the fact that it ties into Endgame, but it's still its own film. I think that's what's so important. That's one of the things that I love about the MCU, especially this later stages of the MCU, is that, you know, the first films were very much 100% standalone films, but with the occasional reference maybe to a different character. And then after Avengers, it became a bit more, to the point where now almost, if you miss one of the films, you will not understand the next one. And I quite love that. But at the same time, each film is completely its own standalone entity. You know, in this film, Peter will be struggling with losing Iron Man. The world will be struggling. We've seen a lot of those memorials, which I'm going to cry. And also the world will be struggling with it being 5 years later. The world will be struggling with all the people having come back. You know, kind of, I think by the time this film starts, the worst of those struggles will be over in terms of the, like, infrastructure of it all and fitting it in. I mean, the world managed to cope and get by when half of the people vanish, so the world will similarly manage to get by when they come back. It will just be a struggle. And there'll be a lot of personal challenges for people who moved on in, like, personal relationships, but in terms of as a planet, the world was functioning. It will function again. People can more or less just walk straight back into whatever jobs they had, assuming those jobs are still there. It would be a lot to work out, but I think something like Spider-Man's not going to focus on that too much, and as we've seen, some time has passed. He's just off doing his thing, being the friendly neighbourhood Spider-Man, joking with the cops, looking forward to his holiday. These films make me so emotional. I love them so much. They're such an important part of the world at the moment of my life, and I'm so thankful for them, and I cannot wait for July. I need to see this film, because hopefully it's at least going to end on a slightly more uplifting note than Endgame did. Oh gosh. So yeah, I'm going to watch the trailer 50 more times. Thank you for watching.